Hey folks, this is Ryan from ORS Snowshoes Direct here in Vermont. We've been talking about snowshoes, we've been walking through each category, and now we're at the top end category, the out of bounds expedition category. So when you are going to the highest peak, you don't know what you're going to come across. You've got to have the best shoe, the best materials, the most traction, the most support, the most features. This is what you want to check out. I'm going to go through the line real quick here, and as always, before I get started, every one of these shoes is in a lot more detail on our individual product pages. But this is a quick overview to kind of give you a general idea, kind of help you figure out which one to look at. So let's start out with the Tubbs Mountaineer snowshoe. This is a Mountaineer 25. As all snowshoes, they're available in different sizes. So think about where you're going, how much weight you're carrying, how much overall weight you're going to put on these snowshoes, and pick the appropriate size. The Mountaineer 25 has a kind of a tapered tail. Actually, it is a tapered tail, and the idea is optimum sort of articulation when you're walking. You don't want those shoes banging together, and traction, traction, traction. Stainless steel traction, these fangs they call them, are going to penetrate really, really deep into the deepest and steepest terrain. The binding has tons of support, very, very stiff and padded, very easy to use. You slide your foot in, it hits the end here and it stops, and you cinch these straps down, you tighten that ratcheting heel strap, and you are in. It's a rotating toe cord, so every time you take a step, all that powder is going to slide right off the tail, so you're not picking up the weight of that shoe. When you're on those long, long uphill climbs, you flip open that heel bar right there, and that gives your heel a place to land. It puts a little more traction, a little more pressure on the shoe, and it also reduces fatigue on your calf muscles. So in a long, long climb, that heel bar is a really essential feature. Other than that, the articulation, the sort of side-to-side is provided with the R2 rapid response, what they call the rapid response system. These are display features, by the way. Let's get those out of the way. But you'll see how that binding can flex side to side. That's key when you're on uneven terrain for sort of comfort and support. So there it is, the Tubbs Mountaineer 25. Then we get to the Tubbs ALP, the Flex ALP, and this is part of the Flex line of snowshoes, brand new this year. This is a a composite snowshoe. Instead of a frame and decking material, it's a big piece of molded material that can twist and articulate, especially in the tail section. So it gives you really, really good traction as the terrain changes, and it really, really gives you a very comfortable walking experience, especially on that hard pack, icy stuff. It really reduces fatigue on your joints. So it's a cool concept that Tubbs is doing this year. Otherwise, it has a very sort of nice shape to prevent the shoes from banging together when you're walking along. It also has a heel lift, a rotating toe cord, tons and tons of traction everywhere. You look, there's traction. So again, for the steepest and most technical terrain, and of course a very, very comfortable and easy to use binding. Once again, pull on those straps, it tightens everything around your forefoot, and then a ratcheting heel strap. The Flex ALP from Tubbs. Now, looking at the Atlas, this is Atlas's premier shoe. This is a 12 series. Here we got the 1225. Pop open that heel lift. Again, you're going to find that on pretty much all of these snowshoes in this category. Lots and lots of traction. Stainless steel. It's going to retain its sharpness over time. Very, very lightweight binding. It's an aluminum binding that's molded specifically to be as stiff as possible. And again, very, very lightweight. The decking material is super durable, but very, very quiet, which is a nice feature in the Atlas. And the one thing that really separates an Atlas is the toe cord. Now, you'll see when I pick my foot up, the shoe doesn't swing away all the way. The binding is sort of suspended, and that keeps the shoe really close to your foot with every step. And the other nice feature is how much articulation you get when you're on uneven terrain. That binding can really, really move to where it needs to keep your foot in a really natural position. The binding is super easy to use, nice and padded. These straps will not freeze up when it gets really, really extreme out there. Slide your foot in, pull on that loop, it tightens around, and getting out is that simple. So really, really great binding on the Atlas 12 series. Alright, now these last three shoes I'm going to kind of go through quickly. These are the MSRs. They're made in the US, and they're composite, sort of like the Flex here. Plastic instead of a frame and a decking material. We've got the Denali Ascent. This is in the classic line, and then we have the Evo and the Evo Ascent. The Ascent simply means that it comes with a climbing bar. This is the original design from MSR, And this is more of a utility type of snowshoe, okay? So you might put this on the back of your pack and pull it out when you need it. If you're, really, really extreme situations, you're mountaineering, you're not always wearing a snowshoe, you need something that you can just pull out and use. This is the idea with these shoes. You'll notice these pegs here will accept a tail, and that will give you more flotation if needed. So it's a modular snowshoe, so when you just need traction and just a little bit of flotation, you got it. When you need more flotation, you slap on those tails. Otherwise, a very, very easy to use binding. It looks pretty simple, but it works great. You just open these straps, you slide your foot in, and you just pull them, and they fall right into place in those little pegs. Really, really great design. I'm a big fan of these snowshoes. The Evo series has a slightly different shape. If you're looking at the traction, it's all stainless steel. The Evos, they've got, especially the Ascent, a little more sort of a deeper penetrating crampon. And the shape of the Evo series, one, the toe area is bigger to accept a bigger boot, and they both as well can accept a tail. The binding is a little stiffer. Here you got sort of more of a sort of flexible binding. These will sort of stand up so you can get your foot in and out a little bit easier. And with the Ascent, again, you get that heel bar versus the regular Denali Evo where you don't need it so much because perhaps you're not going into the most extreme terrain. But again, think about these shoes as sort of a utility. You need them when you're pulling them off the back of your pack, or otherwise they're just a great go anywhere kind of shoe from MSR. Lots of articulation there with that molded design. And once again, made in the USA. All right, so MSR, nice 12 series from Atlas, and then the Mountaineer and the Flex from Tubbs, all available in women's models. So look at the product page to determine which length and which shoe is best for you. And as always, have a great time snowshoeing. I'm Ryan from ORS Snowshoes Direct.